Hi, I'm Todd Spearman with the Blue and Gold, and these are the picks of the week. Today I have some very special guests joined us on the program today. To my right, Newsome. To my left, Karassik is with us.
People's champ.
And Chamblee's very own homecoming queen, the troll that got over the hurdle, Aurora Blumberg.
Another people's champ.
Let's start things off with some college games, shall we? Our first game, Arizona versus Utah. Elijah, how do you see this one turn out?
Well, I was at Costco picking up pickled eggs, and I ran into Kyle Whittingham, who was also buying some chips of the variety pack. And he and I were talking. Utah's got a great defense, so I think they're going to win. 47 sacks, 4.7 sacks a game. Arizona can't handle that. I'm sorry, Utah's just going to win this game.
Karassik.
New Jack City over there. He doesn't know any coaches. He doesn't know anybody. You're not famous, fella. Let's get that straight right now. But I agree with you. New Jack City's good people. Makes a good choice. Utah is going to win because Arizona's inconsistent. All right? Bottom line here, once Utah wins, there will be no celebrating. Utah's outlawed it. People's champ will bring it back, though.
And Aurora.
Well, you may give yourself the title of People's Champ. I was actually awarded the real People's Champion.
That's an obvious counterfeit, cheap imitation, too.
So, I believe that Arizona will go all the way in this one. It's going to be a close one. They're going to do it. They can squeeze out the win.
Our next game, USC versus UCLA. Elijah.
Well, I was having coffee with Snoop Dogg. Our dogs were over playing with each other, as they normally do. Snoop Dogg gets in on the action because he is also a dog. And his son goes UCLA, and I agree with him. USC has no chance in this game based on the fact they don't actually produce good quarterbacks. They have no quarterback. I mean, their quarterbacks suck. You got names like Matt Castle and Matt Leinart and John David Booty and Mark Sanchez. All of these guys suck. And USC's current quarterback, whoever he is, he probably sucks because I don't know him. UCLA is going to win this game.
Oh, shizzle. Karassik?
Wow. Back when I lived in South Central Idaho, I got a good bit of exposure to UCLA, USC, also Southern California, born and bred. I always cheered for UCLA with big name quarterbacks like Troy Aikman at the helm. As it turns out, though, the majority of USC quarterbacks in the NFL play for the Eagles right now. If only they would get Matt Leinart, they'd have the trifecta between Sanchez, Barkley, and then Leinart, who's just in those commercials now. UCLA wins this one because they've been more consistent, like the people's champ, not the one-time, one-and-done, woo, homecoming chump.
And Aurora.
I think that UCLA will win this. It's going to be a close game, but they have the home advantage, and I think they can pull it out.
Indiana versus Ohio State. Elijah.
Well, come on. Ohio State all the way. Let me tell you, I was at a Sandals resort in Antigua. I was relaxing. I went to a cooking class, and guess who was there, partnered with me? Urban Myers himself. Let me tell you something. This man makes a mean creme brulee, and he coaches a mean football team. Indiana's got a good band. Ohio State's got a good band. But who cares about the band? Ohio State's going to win this game, and it's going to be ugly.
Karassik.
It is going to be ugly, just like those lies you're telling about knowing people there. Stephen A. Newsome. Indiana has no chance. No chance whatsoever. They're chumps. Urban Meyer's a chump. Paper champ. Why don't you go ahead and make a better schedule there, Urban? All right? As it turns out, Indiana is going to have a harder time winning this game than busting through a password-protected blog. Ohio State.
And Aurora.
I think Ohio State will win this. I think they're trying to get into the top 4 to make it to the playoffs. I think Indiana just sucks in general. I mean, have they ever really been good at football? So while Ohio will be winning, I just think there'll be some Indianans eating some corn.
And for Sunday's action, Detroit versus New England.
Now, LeGarrette Blount and I are personal friends, but we are not as close as me and Megatron himself. Calvin Johnson and I frequently watch Transformers movies on the weekends, enjoying popcorns in my movie theater basement. So I can tell you, he is well rested. He is listed as questionable, but he is well rested and he is well ready to have an explosive game. I'm calling it. Calvin Johnson breaks his own receiving record this game, and sadly, he still loses because his quarterback isn't the Tom Brady, who I frequently go UGG shopping with. So, because of the UGG shopping and Tom Brady's overall manliness, I have to give this one to New England.
Karassik.
EPA over there's got a point. Uggs are very popular with the youth. I can't see Megatron having a big game. Matthew Stafford slinging him the ball against New England's defense is going to be very difficult. New England is going to win handily in this game, despite Matthew Stafford as my fantasy quarterback putting up weak numbers. New England.
And Aurora.
I believe that Tom Brady is the most attractive quarterback that's ever been in the NFL. I think New England will be snapping some necks, cashing some checks, and I think New England will be pulling this out.
Arizona versus Seattle. Elijah.
Yes, 1 second. Aurora, Joe Namath is the most attractive quarterback to ever play in the NFL. Just amazing. But anyway, Seattle, they're going to win this game. I was recently at a Skittles-related function with Marshawn Lynch, and I was playing Madden 2 weeks ago with my very dear personal friend Richard Sherman. Talks a lot of trash, but his game is weak. And then, of course, Russell Wilson and I are in the same knitting club, of which he leads, and they all seem hungry for this win. They're facing a lot of controversy because they can only win at home. And Arizona's a good team, so if they can beat Arizona at home, people will ignore the fact that they can only win at home. And because they can only win at home, they will win at home. So Seattle's going to win this game.
Karassik.
You must have looked at my pick chart that I have over here. You're just saying everything I want to say, except I'm not name dropping right here. All I know, the only thing getting dropped here is Arizona. Drew Stanton, Richard Sherman, Stanford product himself, will be dominating week after week like he usually does, and this week is no different. Marshawn Lynch, beast mode. Arizona's tough, but the 12th man, Seattle's robust crowd, is going to push them over the top. Big time.
Okay, well, I think Arizona is going to do this. It's in the cards. I don't think the 12th man is going to help Seattle at all, and it's just going to be a blowout.
Our final game, Cincinnati versus Houston Texans. Elijah.
AJ Green and I, we walk our dogs together. I mean, they don't get along, his bulldog and my yellow jacket dog. That's not a dog, but still, AJ Green, he's told me himself, he says, this season I've been slacking, and I think this Houston game is the game that I'm going to take over. And let me tell you, AJ Green is one of the most dominant receivers in all of the NFL, including the NFL. He's the most dominant receiver of all of them. So I'm telling you, Andy Dalton, AJ Green, they're going to come together and they're going to explode all over Houston and win this game.
Karassik.
I think that's a very insensitive comment to make, given the tragedies we've had with the NASA space program. Pretty outrageous stuff there, New Jack City. This game, I see it going to Houston. Cincinnati's been very inconsistent, very much like the champions of the chili cook-off. You know, you could take a flavor packet, put it in some meat and win. That ain't winning. What Houston's going to do on Sunday, that's winning. J.J. Watt is literally going to tear the head off of Andy Dalton, and Gio Bernard with his banged up self is just going to trip and fall and cause me to lose my fantasy football matchup this week.
Well, I don't think we should be making claims against violence through all the domestic violence cases that is happening in the NFL, but I think Andy Dalton will rally his team, and I think that the Bengals will take the win.
Now it's time for my picks of the week. You'd have to be a Pac-12 junkie to be watching this one. But when I think it's all said and done, I really like Solomon at quarterback for Arizona, so I'm going to stick with the Wildcats in this one. USC versus UCLA. UCLA has the second best ground attack, and I really like them in this one. And Indiana versus Ohio State. I watched an interview with Jaden and Willow Smith earlier this week, and when they said 1 second is like 1 year, I think it's going to be the same way watching this game. So in order to postpone the Illuminati, I'm going to go with the Ohio State Buckeyes and go for the win here. In the NFL, I really like Jonas Gray and the New England Patriots on this one. And even if LeGarrette Blount walks out early, I think they ought to be okay. Stanton is undefeated at home, and I really like the Cardinals in this one. And Cincinnati versus Houston, Andy Dalton just looks horrible lately. And I'm going to have to...
4 touchdowns is horrible.
That's a very interesting stat. And so I'm going to have to go with the Texans here. So kids, this holiday season, if you're trying to hide from your aunts and uncles, or you're just playing Call of Duty for 8 hours straight trying to unlock a girlfriend or an actual date, you should really check us out on Bulldogs page 1. So until next time.
10th Prestige Lobby. Get you that girlfriend.
I wouldn't know. Any shout outs?
Yeah. Shout out to all my boys playing the NFL this week. Davin Bellamy doing his thing at UVA. I don't know him personally, but he knows of me personally.
Remember to follow on the Twitters at TauntaunMcCoop13. You won't regret it. People's champ. You can't just go buy a belt and call yourself a champ, Blumberg. That's just how it goes. Where's your crown?
It's being kept in a safe place.
Safety deposit box.
Exactly.
He's not the people's hero, so it doesn't matter.
But no one calls you the people's hero.
Yes, people call me the people's hero.
I'd like to give a shout out to everyone who voted for homecoming or didn't, just everyone who's really great about it and problem support.
Young Conservatives champion right there.
No, journalism. No, not the young conservatives.